Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to Phrasal Wednesday. This is the first of our series. We are going to do many of these on Wednesdays. On Monday, my plan is to be with you going over the basics of English. On Wednesdays, though, we're going to do phrasal verbs. So this class will be a little more advanced. I'm not going to speak Spanish, so I hope that you can forgive me. I'm actually working on both my meu português y meine Deutsche. I'm trying to learn, we'll get better at both Portuguese and German. Portuguese and German are fun languages, but I don't know, Spanish has a nice beauty to it. But today I'm going to try to speak English as much as I can. Hopefully, this class will help you all take some steps to improve your comprehension, etc. So, where is everybody from? Tell me where you're from. I like to know where my followers are coming to me from. Tell me where you live, or perhaps if you are on vacation, where you are visiting. I would be interested in knowing that. Um, I live in Tampa, Florida, which is about an hour and a half away from Orlando, Florida, which is where the Disney parks are. Okay, we got some people here on Instagram connecting. Very nice. From Venezuela, Chile, El Salvador. Marissa from Argentina. Nice to have our friends from Argentina connecting. Ooh, another person from Argentina, Tatiana. Okay, here's somebody from Venezuela, living in Nashville. Somebody from Mexico, I guess it's Same9, but lives in Houston, Texas. Very nice. I've actually looked around the areas of Houston and Dallas as places to visit. I have never been to either one of those cities, and I would like to. Fort Lauderdale is my old home where I lived for many, many years. Our Campos is from Colombia. Valencia from Guatemala. Wow, we're from all over the place. I'm glad to hear that. So today, my friends, we're going to spend about a half an hour or so, maybe 35 minutes, going over phrasal verbs, verbos compuestos, we say in Espanol. But in English, we say, first of all, let's get over let's do the pronunciation. So we have here phrasal verbs. Let me go ahead and put this into the chat. Like a lot of things in English, the way we spell doesn't really make sense with the way we pronounce things. We know that. So the way I would kind of say it's like Frey and then Zul. This is kind of how I would pronounce the word, more or less, using kind of a standard phonetics. This isn't necessarily IPA, but it's hopefully something that can help you. Phrasal. And one good thing in English, when you have the long A sound, which you can kind of write out phonetically like this, that's typically where the emphasis in the word is. So it's not phrasal, it's phrasal. And the good thing you can remember is that if you see that long A, that's probably where the emphasis is. Okay, good. So what we're going to do on Wednesday, we're going to start at the top. I'm going to give you all some phrasal verbs, and I'd like you to tell me what you think they mean by giving me a sentence in the chat about how to utilize these phrasal verbs. All right, so let's do one that's kind of easy, right? Maybe we know this one. Let's do ask out. Ask out. Here's a phrasal verb for you. Ask out. What do you think that means? Can anybody use ask out in a sentence? I'm going to ask out. Anybody know how to use this one in a sentence? Ask out. Out is afuera, and ask is pedir or preguntar in Spanish. Tough one? Not sure? How do we use ask out in a sentence? Not sure? What if I give you a sentence and you can tell me in your own words what it means? All right. He asked. No, let's do this one. He is going to ask her out. All right. What do you think this means? Somebody tell you in your own words. Tell me in your own words He is going to ask her out. Oh, did you ask out for the food? All right, that's a good one. Any idea? He is going to ask her out. Ah, que salga. There we got it. Someone put it there. This means go on a date, right? Have a cita. So typically with phrasal verbs, my friend, this is important. You can separate them or you can't. So we'll get into that. Some of these verbs can be separated. Some of them can't. So I want you to keep this in mind. Ask out her. Ask her out. That one's good, right? The first one, not so good, because it's a pronoun. And some things with phrasal verbs we will see, you can only put the pronoun like her or he or it in the middle. You could say ask out Jackie, but even that seems a little weird to me. I would not say it that way. I would say ask Jackie out. And this means I asked Jackie on a date. So you can say, have you ever asked her out? All right, good. Let's do another one. Let's do back. Let's do back down. Back down. Does anyone know how to use back down in a sentence? Un rendezvous. Yeah, very good, Marissa. Marissa speaking French there. Très bien. Français. All right. Back down. What does back down mean? Ask out is a rendezvous. What do we think? Back down. Tell me in your own words. You can say it in English or in Spanish. What do you think back down means? This is a tough one. As we go through these, we'll see kind of how these work. Marissa has no idea. Back down. So one thing to remember is that phrasal verbs are very physical. They deal with physical reality. And English and American and British culture, generally, our language and our way of thinking is perhaps less scientific than Spanish, which is a Latin-based language. I can even talk to you about the differences between the Fahrenheit and the Celsius system. I'm back at work now down here. No, that's a good one. Someone said to move something. This is a tough one, right? This is a very tough one, and I accept that it can be a little tougher, right? So we fought, and then he backed down. We fought, and then he backed down. What do you think that means? We fought, and then he backed down. Any idea? We fought, and then he backed down. I'm going to explain in a minute. My comment, yeah, someone wrote here, you better back down in the chat in Instagram. That's right. Very good. What do you think that means? He backed down. Fought is like peleó, right? Peleábamos, and then he backed down. Again, this is kind of advanced English, so it can be a little tough. If you're not sure, that's okay. Retrolecer, somebody got it right here. Ooh, I like this comment. Very good from Fernando. Thank you, Fernando. He will never back down. Él nunca va a rendir, right? He will never give up. Oh, no, here, someone, he did not accept the fight. No, that's, he quit the fight. So this is a good one from Fernando. You can see here on the screen. The committee finally backed down. So Fernando, tell me in your own words here. The committee finally backed down over the issue of spending cuts. What does that mean? Explain that without a phrasal verb. And Marissa put, se rindió. Very good, Marissa. That's right. This is like they were fighting, and then finally they gave up. Se rindió. And here's what I was saying earlier about English being physical. Think about it like this. Your back is here, right? La espalda. And if you back down, you're kind of giving up, right? You're fighting, and then, okay, let's back down, right? I go back and I go down. And a lot of phrasal verbs in English are based on physical movement or physical experience. And sometimes it might not be that straightforward. If your first language is Spanish, it might be hard for you to conceptualize these things because Spanish, at least in my opinion, having studied it, is a very scientific language. It's very precise. I'm struck that in Spanish there's like a verb for everything. I mean, in English there really isn't, or at least not one that we use on a regular basis. Instead, we take things that are physical and we add these prepositions to them or particles and speak in a phrasal kind of way. Okay, good. Back down, retroceder. You can say he would never back down. He would never back down. That's like no importa lo que pasaría, él nunca rendería. He would never quit. Okay, so very good on that one. All right, let's do another one. Let's do. Here's a good one. I like this one. Beef up. You guys are gonna think this one's funny. Beef up. What do you think to beef up means? This is a good one. He needs to beef up. What do you think that means? Beef up. Now, of course, you have to know what the word beef is, right? And I don't think there is no beef down. We don't really say beef down, but beef up we do say, the common thing. This guy needs to beef up. Any idea? And Marissa's giving me the eyes over here on Instagram. She's like, what is this craziness? Yeah, you really got to beef up. Common thing that we'll say, I will admit, this is not some weird thing taken off the internet. This is a common expression that we would say. Anyone, any idea? Beef up. No? Too much? Reforzar? Oh, that's a good one, Joanna. That's close. Tito says, give me a clue. I like these phrasal verbs. I think they're funny. So beef up in this sense means to make something stronger, make something better. You could beef up your computer system in theory, right? You know, I need to beef my system up. Now, this might not be the most common thing that we would say, but it is something you could say. I need to beef my system up. Necesito mejorar mi sistema. Now, beef, as you know, is the word for como carne, right? Carne de res. So beef up, we're like making something bigger. And beefing something up means improving it, making it stronger, making it work better in some way. Beef up. If you want to write these down, you can use them. Impress your friends with your English later on, right? I need to beef up, okay? Good. All right, let's try. What are some of the good ones we can do? How about, let's get one that I think is a little bit easy. Let's try break in. Break in. And this we're going to use, and we're going to show how phrasal verbs change into nouns to this one. Yeah, beef up the enchiladas. Somebody, Chris Royce. Very good, Chris Royce. Beef up the enchiladas. That means make these enchiladas bigger, or add more meat to them or something, right? Beef up the enchiladas. I need to beef up my arms. All right, good. So let's go to break in. I bet somebody watching knows this one. But the reason I picked this one is because we're going to use it to explain another type of way we use phrasal verbs in forming them into nouns. All right, now Giselle wrote interrumpir. Yeah, sort of, but not really interrumpir. I don't think that's the best translation. Break in. Okay, entrar, we're getting closer. We're getting closer with entrar. Romper, sort of. I want to break in my shoes. Okay, there's a good one. Okay, now Titorio got it right here. To enter without say. I think Titorio in YouTube has got it. Now we got descansar. No, that wouldn't be really. Invadir. Now, invadir, I like that verb in Spanish. Invadir. Here, somebody wrote it. Rafiki. Break in is entrar sin permiso. Very good. So let's do one. We break into houses. Or we break in. Yeah, let's just do two houses. That's fine. We break into houses. Right here. So you get an example. This means we enter homes illegally without permission. So again, I want to get into here. We break in. This means we enter without permission. Could be forzar. I mean, I guess you could entrar sin permiso. I like that translation the best. Now, here's something for you. Ready? We had a break-in. All right, here's what I wanted to get to you, right? We had a break-in. Whoops, sorry, I spelled that wrong. We had a break-in, like that. All right, here, ignore what I just wrote in the chat because I spelled that wrong. We had a break-in. Now, what do you think that means? This is a tough one, right? We had a break-in. It really, I think it's actually better if we put it hyphenated. Let's do that. We had a break-in. Yeah, we can do that. And really, we could probably write it with one word, but we need the hyphen there, and I forgot to add it. So we had a break-in. Anyone idea what that means? Tuvimos un robo. Yes, very good. But it's a specific kind of robo. And this is, yeah, that's better right there. Jose wrote it. I liked it. Nosotros, los ladrones entraron en la casa. Muy bien. So this is the beauty and also the difficult part of English. If you say tuvimos un robo, in Spanish, that means literally we were robbed, right? But a break-in is not just a robbery. It's a very specific kind of robbery. So you could have, I guess, a break-in in your computer system. You could. Someone broke into my computer. Maybe they hacked it from the outside. But the idea is that you are entering and you took something and left. And usually with break-ins, you aren't at home. It's a pretty common thing. The person who owns the house is not there. You know, I guess you could say we had a break-in if you were at the house, but to me that'd be a little strange. I would think it would mean you weren't at home. You were not at home. Somebody broke in your house. Okay. Now, again, you could break in if you were there. You could also break into a computer system, break into a car. But the idea is you physically went there, I guess it could be digitally, and you took something and you left. That's not the same as he robbed me, right? If I'm on the street and somebody just put a gun to me and took my money, that's not a break-in. That's not a break-in. That is a robbery, me robaran, but they didn't break in. That's like they had to go in the structure. So again, English allows us to say a lot in just a few words. And again, we take a word like break, romper, in, dentro, we put them together, we get a new concept. All right, good. Good. I'm glad we got that. All right, let's try a couple others. And thank you, Marissa, for the compliment. I appreciate that. All right, how about this one? Now, this one actually has several different meanings. I bet you all know some of them, though. So let's look at this one right here. Break up. A breakup. We all know what this one means, right? Tell me in the comments, my friends. A breakup. What do you think that means? Break up. You can say the Beatles broke up. Huh? What does that mean? Terminar la relación? Yes, that's good. Correct. Terminar la relación. Someone put it right here. But that's really one of only 4 odd meanings. Break up can also mean separate something that's not a relationship. Like you can say break up my work. I need to break up my work. Tengo que dividir mi trabajo. So there is an idea of separating, but in general, yes, that's the idea. We typically use it when a relationship ends. That's right. Very good. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. You could say the Beatles, right? The Beatles broke up. But it also means separar en pedacitos más pequeños, right? Break that work up. Break your work up. I need to break up my work. Okay. Now, here's another one. This is a little different, right? Hey, the sound keeps breaking up. Take a look at what I wrote here. The sound keeps breaking up. Now, I've put it into gerund form, B-R-E-A-K-I-N-G. The sound keeps breaking up. What do you think that means? The sound keeps breaking up. This is a little different, right? It's a little different. It's not a relationship. I'm talking about sound. So what do you think that means? The sound keeps breaking up. Yes, very good. Distorsionando, very good. And the concept same, right? The sound, which is like a flow, gets broken. It's breaking up. Breaking up. Very good. Now, here's another good example. We had a breakup. And I really like this one because it shows how we do this. In English, it is very common to take phrasal verbs, combine them together to create a noun based on the action. So we had a breakup. We had a breakup. It's a very famous song called Breaking Up is Hard to Do. Breaking up is hard to do. We had a breakup. So we take a phrasal verb, break up, combine it together, and then put it after an article like a, and now it's a noun. We had a breakup. You could also use another one, right? We called for backup. We called for backup. Let me put this here in the chat. Another example of a phrasal verb that has become a noun. We called for backup. Does anyone know what this means? We called for backup. Remember too, break is B-R-E-A-K. B-R-A-K-E is a different type of break. That's like los frenos. So be careful on the spelling, all right? So break and break, same pronunciation, but different spelling and different meaning. So we called for backup. What do you think that means? We called for backup. Yeah, refuerzos. Very good. We're asking for help. So again, back up. And think about it. If you're on my back, that means you support me. I'm backing you up. English is a very physical language. That's what old Borges, the Argentinian writer, said. English is the most physical language. So, no, una ruptura, no. Ese es un buen intento. That's very good. Thank you, Panchito, for the compliment. Backup in this sense is apoyo. We called for backup. Okay? We called for backup. We need help. Back up, peg together, we get backup. Okay? Good. All right, let's do some other ones here. We did break up. Let's do it. Ooh, I like this one. Brush up. Brush up. Anyone idea? Brush up. And as we go through Wednesdays, we're going to go kind of alphabetically down the list. We'll do some repetition of some other ones, but there are literally thousands of phrasal verbs in English, and they're they're contextually based. So it can change, the meaning rather can change depending on the context. That can be very frustrating for a speaker of a Romance language like Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, because your languages are so scientific and so precise. In some ways, it might make it easier for an English speaker to learn Spanish than the other way around, because I can learn a verb in Spanish and know that's what the verb means. Context doesn't really change the meaning of the verb that much, but it does happen in Spanish. All right, brush up. Repasar. Cepillar. Someone said cepillar mis dientes. Well, it could be, right? But no, it's not that, right? How about I need to brush up on my Spanish. Let's put it like this. I need to brush up on my Spanish. What do you think this means? Ooh, I like this one. Si Pardo 1206. Poner en práctica una habilidad. And that's a very good example. I really like the way you did that. Si Pardo. Poner en práctica. Or pulir. Yeah, it could be pulir. This is sort of the beauty and the frustration of English and Spanish. Like, you can say mejorar, but it's not really mejorar. This is the problem. It's not really, actualizar, yeah, that's close. Actualizar es un buen verbo. I like that one. That's not bad. But actualizar, I think it's a better translate is like update. And here's why. When I say brush up on, as the native speaker, I think, okay, this is a person who is pretty good at something, got a little worse, and now needs to get back to where they were. It really means all of that to me in 3 words: brush up on. So we're sort of good, got a little worse, and now need to get better. It means all of that. So it's not just mejorar. If you want to say, for example, I need to improve my Spanish, That doesn't mean the same thing as I need to brush up on my Spanish. They are related concepts, but there's something kind of poetic when we use phrasal verbs like the one you're seeing here to express deep meaning. There's deep meaning in English phrasal verbs. We can say a lot with few words. The problem is, of course, it becomes a little bit difficult and tricky to learn, especially when you're trying to translate, right? So I need to improve my Spanish. Well, yes, but brush up on is, again, we're kind of good, got a little worse, now need to improve. The reason for this, if you think about it, brush up, right? When we're painting our house, I mean, unless we're painting it for the first time, but in theory, right, your house looked nice. It was well painted. The years went by. It wasn't as nicely painted. Now you need to repaint it. So it's kind of like that. You wouldn't say, of course, I need to repaint my house, but let's try some other ones. I do like that one. Let's see. What's some other good ones? Butt out, that's too easy. Call back, call in. How about call off? I like this one a lot. Call off. Anyone? We'll do, I think, maybe two more here. Call off. Yeah, someone is writing, es como necesito trabajar en ello. Sí, es así, pero es un poco más. Hay más profundidad. So that's a good question, Danny. I think you ask a good question. It's a little bit tough, all right? Call off. What do you think? Oh, Sal, con gusto, Sal. I'm glad you like it. All right. So this is a tough one. And every Wednesday we'll be here. We're going to do phrasal verbs. I may throw in some idiomatic expressions as well. All right. So let's see here. Cancelar. Yeah, cancelar. That's pretty close. Cancelar and call off. Casi lo mismo, right? Pretty similar. Someone said call off the wedding. Yeah, that's what happens, right? When you're going to get married, you got to call off. Call off means cancel, but it's kind of like, I don't know. To me, there's something subtle here. It's almost hard to explain, but the difference between cancel and call off isn't much, but I wouldn't say it's exactly the same. I called the wedding off. It's like I canceled it, but I also communicated that decision in kind of I don't know, in kind of, there was a problem. I guess you could, if you're canceling a wedding, I mean, there's probably a problem, right? But you can cancel something. And, I canceled my plans. I called off my plans. I guess the difference is subtle. But for me, the implication with call off is that there was kind of a hard decision to make, and I made it, and I communicated that decision to other people. Cancel is just like, I canceled my plans. And that's kind of a neutral thing in English. It could be good. It could be bad. I'd actually be interested in hearing what other native speakers think about the difference between cancel and call off. But that's good. Call off is cancel. All right. How about then? Let's do call upon. Yeah, abandonar, cancelar. Yeah, I agree with that. Not bad. All right. I like this one here. Dar por terminado. That's kind of a good translation, Saul. I like that one. All right. How about call upon? And we'll do one more after this. Call upon. There are a lot of good phrasal verbs with call. Powerful verb in English, has a lot of meaning. Call upon. Upon. What do you think? Call upon arrival? That's actually not really phrasal, though. That's a good one. Invocar? Ooh, I like that one. Invocar. Yeah, very good. To invoke. To invoke. Now, again, it depends on the scenario, right? So you could say, she called upon me, but that's really, maybe not quite as deep as we want to go. We can say, our leader called upon us to do great things, or something like that. Here, I'm being a little political, but that's okay. Let's go here and take a look. Our leader called upon us to do great things. Yeah, I like that one. Convocar. That's a good word. Invocar or convocar. Thank you. I think it's Maggie Souza for that. That's a good one. Convocar. Good verb in Spanish. And again, you could say to invoke. That'd be all right. But to call upon is kind of a deep thing. Convocar is to convene in English, more or less. Not bad as a translation. This is like nos envió el mensaje para esforzarnos y hacer algo importante o algo así. Like that's the best way I can explain it. Call upon, right? But it can also just means I named you, okay? All right, what are some good ones? All right, this one might be a little tough. Carry away. I love this one. To carry away. How about say, yesterday I was too carried away. Now, again, I'm taking it more as an adjective form. I could put it with the verb get, right? How about let's do that. Let's put it with the verb get. Sometimes I get carried away. I like this one better. Sometimes I get carried away. So tell me in your own words, what do you think that means? Sometimes I get carried away. Again, we only have 4 words here. Sometimes I get carried, no, 5 words, excuse me. Sometimes I get carried away. Me dejo llevar. Not bad, Laura. That's not a bad translation. Sometimes I get carried away. Arrebatar. Not bad. This is a tougher one. We'll end with this one, right? Suena algo malo. Yeah, you got that one right. It's not really a good thing. She got carried away with her luggage. Now, that's a good one, but that means something different. That doesn't me llevaran. This doesn't really mean that. There it is. I like that one from Pardo. Lose control and get mad. Yo pierdo el control. But it doesn't necessarily have to be mad, right? It could be with something emotional, like tal vez te emociona un montón con el fútbol, right? I get all worked up for soccer. So sometimes I get carried away. Tu no estás bravo. You're not angry. Maybe you're just screaming, yeah, we did it. We won. You're too much. So it means sometimes you lose control of your emotions or your behavior. It could be like, si estás trabajando y no paras de trabajar, sometimes I get carried away. It just means kind of tu pierdes el control, right? So I don't know when to stop. And it could be with anger. It could be with being way too excited. It could be with any number of things, but it means you lose control, okay? So that's carry away. Carry away. That's a good one, though. And that, again, you could also say that means to physically move me, right? Like I carried this away. That's not really quite as phrasal in concept. Okay, good, my friends. So we got a lot of verbs here that we went over. I hope you can take some notes while we're doing these. This video will be available on YouTube. Let me put my website here for everyone to have it. So if you want to contact me about anything related to English learning, my classes, etc., I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. I'd be happy to talk to you. You can find my contact information there. I put it up there. Wait, that's my main. Sorry, that's my main speaking course. Let me just put my main website. So you can have that, not my speaking course. Sorry about that. But, I'm really happy to be able to take this time and do this with you all. I know a half-hour-long class online is a little bit, it can be a little tedious. We don't have quite the interaction. I'm treating this like a radio program. I'm talking. I know you're listening, but I'm typically used to doing classes where there's a little more student interaction. So thank you for having the patience to be here with me and enjoy this. We're at about 35 minutes. It's about 9 o'clock here in Tampa, 8 o'clock Columbia time. And I know some of my students have class starting here soon. But if anyone wants to get in touch with me to go over anything that they have going on in their world and ways that I can help them get better with their English, please give me a call. Someone said, how can we take classes with me? Of course. Here is your I'll put my link in the chat for my website. And again, I'll see everybody on Monday. Remember, Monday I'm going to do more of the basics, and on Wednesdays a little more advanced with my focus is going to be phrasal verbs and then also idiomatic expressions. Entonces, lunes son las clases más básicas. Sal me preguntó si yo vi el eclipse y sí, yo lo vi, pero aquí en la Florida no era tan fuerte, no escurrió mucho el cielo. Fue como un día normal, más o menos como nubes, no hubo nubes, pero fue como un día con nublina. Pero entonces, amigos, muchas gracias. Thank you to everyone for being here. I will hopefully see all of you in class on Monday. All right, take it easy, everybody.